Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back once again to Phatkat Collections. Bam! Got another RGMT watch. Today I'm doing a double unboxing, so to speak. This one here is a watch I've reviewed in the past, maybe about a month or so ago, depending on when you watch this video. This is the biggest RGMT watch that they make. I was actually pretty shocked when I got this in the mail. I didn't really think that this was like a big, beefy, bold watch. Because most of the RGMT watches are still, and remember, big is subjective. Some folks might say 45 millimeters big, right? But this is, I was actually blown away. It reminds me, it's reminiscent of the original Sea Hunter by Invicta. It reminds me of like the Aragon Parma. It's big, it's simple, it's what you would just picture Schwarzenegger wearing, right? He's kind of known for wearing some of those, I don't know which brands he wears, but some of those big, giant dive watches, which we've all grown to love, right? So this one, what I like about it is that it's just huge, but it's just simple. All right, so let's get right to it. Let's check it out. So this one here is called the Brite, and I'm not sure where they got the name for that. Probably because the lume on this, there's a lot of lume depending on which model you get. Some of them, like the other version I have here with the blue and orange, don't have I would say as much lume on the indices. If you look at the gray version here, they call this one the gunmetal gray, the numbers are a lot larger. So a slight different variation, but in essence really the same watch. I requested these because the first video I did was kind of like the kind of maroon blood red face color, and I liked the watch so much, and you know, and the price was right on these right now. Let me tell you, I wanted to share both these other colors on the channel. Now there are other, we'll come back to these in a second, there are several other color variations, but before we move on, I don't normally hit you guys with the price. RGMT, I'm trying to work with them and all their other brands to kind of do, well, not really Spinnaker. Spinnaker they do this with. Spinnaker is one of their other brands owned by Dartmouth. They put a reasonable price, what they normally sell the watch for, and then they just put sales on them. And the sales aren't extreme. They give a decent price. Sometimes if it's a $500 watch, they go down to like $3-ish, sometimes $250. But with like the RGMT line, right now they're putting these on their site, which I think is really a mistake. They have the MSRP of $1480. They're kind of doing what Invicta does, and Bulva and plenty of other manufacturers, but it's an extreme price. These watches, remember, I've said many times in videos that watches really, you shouldn't really need to spend more than $300 on a watch. And keep in mind, I'm saying for quality, but if it's something that really speaks to you and you're like, oh, you know, that watch is $1,000, but that's just what they sell for, you can't get them any less, then if it speaks to you and you can afford it and it's going to make you happy, buy it. But just don't think by spending more for a watch, you're necessarily getting better quality that you can really touch and feel, right? So with this is an amazing price. I think they changed the price here. We're doing some kind of test runs. Since I mentioned the amount of traffic that we have got last year to RGMT's website through my videos, they haven't really sold anything direct to consumer until this new year. We've got a few sales out, and the more they change their pricing structure on the site, the more people are going to buy these directly from a RGMT, and they should. It's always best to buy direct from manufacturer. You're going to get the best price and the best service. So right now, this is a perfect example. This watch right now, $1480, right, is on sale for $359, a reasonable price, and what a watch like this should cost. But it gets better. It gets better for you guys watching my channel. Phatkat Collections coupon code in description will give you 30% off. You will get this for $251. That is like untouchable. I don't know any other brand, even Invicta and Aragon, that's going to give you that kind of value and this kind of quality. So let's talk check boxes. First off, right off the bat, do you like it? Do you like this watch? Is this simple design enough for you, right? What's incredible about this as well, you might be saying, oh, well, seeing that with Invicta. This one's got the helium release valve. So this is built for diving, right? Where some of the Invictas, I know sometimes they say they're dive watches, but they're so decorative and there's so much going on, I really wouldn't consider them. I know they're dive watches, but my mind just doesn't go there with them, right? Like you don't look at a giant, you know, Sea Hunter and say, yeah, I'm necessarily going to dive with this. Or you don't look at like a Zeus Bolt. You know, there's a lot going on with it. And I love it, don't be wrong. But this watch, I just feel like it's built in such a way And I'm not saying better quality than Invicta. I'm saying that it's built in such a way that it just feels like it was really made to be in the ocean, you know? It's not over the top with gingerbread. It's just big, simple, and bold. The old Brite, I think, has to do with the lume you're going to get on the bezel on both these watches. There's a lot of lume around the bezel. It is a unidirectional rotating bezel, although I think they could have made the bezel a little taller on this, and the knurling, or the what we'll call like a coin-edged cut, a little bit larger, because it is a little bit, you know, you can still turn it, don't get me wrong, but you know, if you were diving with this underwater, that might get a little bit slippery. I don't know, I don't dive. Not a concern for me, I'm not a diver. I wear these as fashion watches, you know what I mean? Which is really, it doesn't matter what watch I ever have in my collection. If I win the lotto tomorrow, I'd probably get a solid gold Rolex just for bragging rights, but it's still a fashion watch to me. Like, this is why I wear watches. It's an accessory, right? So, again, bezel, I think they could have made it a little taller, but maybe they just didn't want to make this watch too thick, because it's already a pretty thick watch. This is an automatic, both these watches. I think they might make this in a quartz, but we're not talking about those today, only the automatics. We have a big, very easy to turn screw down crown. That definitely gives you a really nice grip. It's sharp. And then we have 316 stainless steel on the whole watch build. It's just built with quality. I mean, it just feels so big and beefy. If you are a guy who likes big watches, then this one, if you're like, all right, I got a lot of Invictas, I got a lot of Aragons, I need to get something else, look no further, because there's not a lot of companies really making watches this big. And I was, again, pretty surprised. And how big, you might say? 55 millimeter. It is a tank of a watch. And again, the price point on these right now, I mean, this particular model, $251. You know, by the time you watch this video, the price may change. Pick this up while you can. I don't know what the weight is, but if you're used to like the way a Sea Hunter feels, it is impressive. Now, as far as other specifications, I'm really happy to see that some of the new models they're putting on the RGMT site, they're listing the movement. You're getting a Miyota 8215. I did misspoke. I didn't misspeak here. The case diameter, not 55, 54. So if you do include the crown, it's going to take you out to almost 56, which, depending on the brand, sometimes they measure that. I like to measure just at the bezel. You are getting a 54 millimeter watch and 100 ATMs of water resistance. As far as the other specifications on here, 18 millimeters in case thickness. If you're used to like a Grand Octane, this is what, you know, Grand Octane's about 19 millimeter. 26 millimeter bracelet on this, which is nice that it is a standard stainless steel bracelet. And if you ever want to change this up, I don't know why you'd want to, but you may want to customize it with silicone or leather. 26, you can find 26 millimeter straps. Go get something from Invicta. A lot of times those watches are 28, 30. You're going to have a hard time finding a replacement bracelet or strap should you want to change it up. So you can, don't get me wrong, but you're starting to get into custom territory. This, you can definitely find 26 millimeter straps, which is nice. I like when they didn't push the lug width on this. It tapers down a little bit. I'd say it tapers down maybe from a 26 down to maybe a 22 or 24 millimeter bracelet. Simple 3-link design. You know, they really didn't do anything too aggressive with the styling on this. It's just meant to be a big, bold, beefy diver. Kind of reminiscent of what you were going to get in like a German dive watch. It kind of reminds me of that. They're just big. They're big, round, giant chunks of steel on your wrist. Let me go back to the blue and orange. Again, a little bit of a different look here with the blue and orange. Still very cool. I don't know which one I actually like better. I'm kind of leaning towards the blue and orange. Just has a little more pizzazz. But again, that really comes down to what, you know, is going to make you happy. But definitely a killer watch, and a watch that, you know, it's really checking all the boxes I think anybody really needs in a watch. One, do you like it? If it does, boom, on to number 2. What is it made out of? 316 stainless steel. You got tons of it on this watch. You know, the other checkbox, maybe, do you like a big watch? And this has got it. You know, other brands out there, when you really look for big timepieces like this, you got to go Invicta. You can't even go Aragon anymore. They don't even make them this large anymore. You have to go diesel. So there's not a lot of options if you want to add some variety into your collection with brands out there. So with the options, you may want to get 2 of these. They're all on sale right now. Each color combination. They fluctuate in price by about 20 bucks, $3.59 to $3.79. We got the royal blue face. We got the green face. We got the black face with the black bezel. We got the gray. We got the green. We got the Arctic blue. We got the stealth black. And we have the deep gray. This is another example I mentioned a few videos. I like, I got a lot of watches and I still wear them all, but I prefer, at least in this particular model, I prefer the stainless steel bezel as opposed to the black plated bezel. It's personal preference. I just like the way it looks. It makes the watch look even bigger than it actually is. So just a beefy watch. Now I didn't size this yet. I just was so excited to make this video and I wanted to put it up before the sale's over. I'm just going to hold it from the back. You can see what this watch looks like. It is just a tank of a watch. I may have to size this today if I go wear it. I actually forgot I had this. I have so many watches. It's just, I kind of lose track. So I got to start making a list of what I get and put check boxes next to the watches I've reviewed or need to review. But I mean, check that beast out. Definitely, I don't know, man. When I actually put it on the wrist now, I kind of like the simplicity of the gray. It's too bad they don't make this version with a silver bezel with black face. I think that it's always kind of like a good universal color, but you have to get it with the black bezel. So I think the gray is definitely a winner. Look at the size of that thing. Lord have mercy. Look at the size of that thing. I don't know if you guys caught that. That's from that new Swamp People series. Where they swam for whatever. Give me some crocodile boots from that show. But all joking aside, killer watch, well built, and just again, if you haven't picked up an RGMT watch, now might be a good time to do so, especially if you're looking for something big and bold. We've heard it for a while now. Even though I'm not really some of the watch reviewers out there, especially in the Invicta world. They're very, they like to toss words around like the Invicta family and stuff like that. But ultimately, I don't, family's family. I don't consider you guys watching me family. And that may sound a little harsh, but I'm always going to be honest and upfront with you guys. And I just feel like that's just the wrong term. You guys are subscribers. You guys are viewers. And I'm always here to help you guys answer questions and share my passion for watches with you. And I love hearing about your stories and all this stuff. But, I know that even though I don't get involved in that kind of group of people, I I wouldn't go on an Invicta cruise. I like the watches, but I'm not nerding out trying to get on the cruise, And if you like it, that's okay too. But I know in the chatter when Aragon started changing their brand around a little bit, they stopped making the big watches, and some of these fanatics were like, oh, we're petitioning Aragon. Like, Aragon doesn't give a fuck what you want. Aragon's going to make what they want. And so what Aragon mainly did, in my opinion, was start to make watches that really appeal to more of the masses. And I think that as popular as big watches are, I think smaller watches are always going to be more popular. Not everybody wants to wear a big watch, And I think it's a mistake that, and I'm just giving you guys my opinions here, I think it's a mistake that Invicta does a lot of times, where they make these big, beautiful creations and they don't make a mid-size. You have to go with a female version, which they should just call mid-size. I've mentioned it many times. I've been mentioning it for years. A lot of the other Invicta reviewers are kind of copying, my sentiments on that. And that's good, because maybe Invicta listens. I don't know if they do, but they make so many cool creations. It'd be nice to make them smaller, because it would attract more people. On the flip side to that, Aragon, their whole claim to fame in the beginning was big, bold watches. They kind of copied what Invicta was doing, right? And is still doing. Thing about Invicta, they do make a pretty good variety. It's just some of the models that we really like, the big ones, the Zeus Bolts, the Sea Hunters, they don't make in a 42mm mid-size. If they did, they would definitely attract more customers or gain more customers. With Aragon, a lot of these folks were like, oh, we petitioned to make big watches again. Well, Aragon did where they made a decision that is going to allow them to sell to more people. And I think they probably looked at their sales, and Aragon's always done Aragon has been pretty good about doing mid-size and then full-size. Now they make more of, actually like big size and then like normal size. Now they kind of do like, they do like a 47, 50 millimeter in some cases. Then they take it down to like the 42. So they're providing that variety for people, and they're providing that, that size difference. And I think that it is smart, but the downside is that people still want the big Aragons, and they've wanted to come back for a while. So again, when I look at the RGMT, really reminds me a lot of Aragon in the build style. Like when I see Aragon watches, I think the RGMT does a better job than Aragon. Aragon likes to use a lot of like stamped clasps, which are still just as good, but they just don't look as nice. RGMT, you're really, I can't think of any other check boxes you would want in a brand. So give them a go, give them a look. Let me know if I can help. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day.